This week in Akron, the history of jazz was celebrated through a live performance and panel about Akron's jazz scene from 1920 to the present. It took place in the grand lobby of the Akron Civic Theater. The event was presented by Theron Brown, professor and founder of the Rubber City Jazz and Blues Festival, and his colleague, Chris Coles, a professor at multiple universities and a talented saxophonist.
We are so glad to have all of you here with us, and especially for all of you who are doing standing room only in the back. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this amazing event. The history of jazz in Akron from 1920 to the present. When we talk about the most really American kind of music, we always start with jazz. And jazz galvanized the culture of Akron from its early onset in the 1920s to really when it reached its apex in the 1930s through the 1960s. The Akron jazz scene was dealt somewhat of a death blow in the 70s and 80s when urban renewal came in and with the implementation of the Akron Belt. But what is so amazing about the Akron jazz story is that the Akron jazz scene has been resurrected by so many important artists and people here in our city, including many who are right here on our panel.
What I can provide is a little bit of table setting by talking about what jazz is and why Akron might have been such fertile soil for the jazz scene to grow in. Diversity is the magic sauce that has made jazz possible. Diversity of population, of cultures, of musical languages, and it doesn't really lie at its heart. It actually is what brought jazz into being.
The history of jazz in Akron really begins along Akron Street. This is Akron Street here. You can see it's lively, it's full of people. It's also home to dozens of Akron businesses. Now, when you hear Howard Street today, you might not be thinking of downtown. So I kind of want to orient ourselves to where we're talking about. This is a view of downtown Akron looking north. But from the 1930s through the 1960s, some of the biggest names in music played in Akron at one point or another. Duke Ellington, Fitzgerald, Cat Calloway, pretty much any big name in jazz you can think of probably played in Akron at one point or another.
What once started as an idea has 30 years later developed into an educational center dedicated to preserving Akron's 200-year-old history. The Akron History Center was opened before the event, showcasing their new Rhythms of Rubber City exhibit. It's located on the Main Street level right when guests walk through the doors. Its collection, donated to the Akron Summit County Public Library by the Akron Sound Museum, shares hundreds of artifacts documenting the city's role in the 1980s era of rock. Dolores Parker Morgan, a popular jazz vocalist known for her featured performances in the city, and, of course, fashion sense. As a 19-year-old, she won a place in Fletcher Henderson's orchestra, the group that gave Louis Armstrong and other jazz greats their start. She resided in Akron until her passing at the age of 99 in 2018. Each floor of the Akron History Center includes exhibits from different periods of the past, showcasing Akron's industrial growth, art, and community life.
We know jazz to be primarily swing music. So in the 20s, people played the things that they heard. They heard swing tunes, they heard musicals, things of that nature. We turn those into tunes that we can analyze on the rhythm.
distinctive Akron sound is that vocal quality out of the Black church is so closely tied to the jazz scene here.
Some of the things that I noticed was that these cities we visited, like Pittsburgh and Detroit, had jazz festivals. So it's this space now where not only our musicians are getting a platform, we have other people coming in, which also allows students and musicians that are coming up to be able to have a really close relationship with these musicians.